More than 33 million people affected, one-third of the country submerged. The 2022 floods in Pakistan were devastating. The South Asian state is responsible for less than 1% of global greenhouse gas emissions, but it is disproportionately impacted by the effects of climate change. 18 months after the heavy floods, many are still struggling to rebuild their lives.
The night before the flooding started, we had everything. Today, all we have is our health. Nothing else remains. I'm worried about what will happen. Besides God, we don't expect help from anyone. I've gone to the government, but nobody does anything for us.
The authorities have sounded the alarm bells.
The dystopia has already come to our doorsteps.
A lack of measures domestically, as well as insufficient international assistance, continue to affect the most vulnerable communities in the country.
By the afternoon, we had realized that the river level was rising. It wasn't unusual. We experienced that in the 2010 and 2020 floods as well. In 2020, we had left our area, but this time we decided to stay. Later in the afternoon, we sent the children to another location. We waited for the water to recede. It had been raining for 3 to 4 days. By the evening, the water level was still increasing. We took shelter somewhere, and that's the last thing we remember. When we woke up the next day, both our hotel and our house were swept away by the flood.
Located in Pakistan's northwestern Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province, Bahrain was once a bustling tourist destination. Due to its landscape, the area is referred to as the Switzerland of the East. Tourism was the mainstay of the economy, contributing over 37% of Swat district's income. Nowadays, it looks more like a giant construction site.
Around 90 to 95% of the people in Bahrain are currently jobless. Floods swept away everything. Between 10 to 20 employees were employed in our hotel. Today, I myself am jobless. Only me and my God knows how I'm surviving.
In the floods, Ayaz lost his family business, a 3-star hotel. The loss hit the family hard, and almost everyone had to make sacrifices.
Our family's sole source of income was the hotel. My older brother was the co-owner along with my father, and we all used to run the business together. My younger brother, who studied for his master's in economics, has been unemployed for the last year or so. He's now leaving for Dubai. My youngest brother was studying accounting, but due to our financial situation, he had to quit his studies.
The government announced financial assistance of 400,000 rupees, about 1,300 euros, to residents whose houses were destroyed.
We often go to the bank, but we're told the Pakistan Disaster Management Authority is responsible for the payment. Then I go to the commissioner. Everyone sends me to another official or department. You can't do much with 400,000 rupees. But we would have gotten the feeling that our government cares about us. Sadly, that didn't happen. That's what I'm saying. 400,000 rupees are like pennies these days. Officials came and noted down our losses. We filed complaints. In the first 3 months, we completed the paperwork and were approved for assistance.
For Ayaz and the people of Swat, the situation may improve when the reconstruction finishes and tourists return to the area. But in many parts of the country, hope is diminishing fast.
When I came back from the fields in the evening, I had a lot. But in the darkness of the night, I lost everything. The floods took it all.
Today, 48-year-old Aasim Khan is taking us to the place that he once called home. His inheritance and result of 12 years of hard labor in Saudi Arabia are now just stones and dust.
This was the passage that led to our house. It was about 15 feet long. The rubble that you see here, those are the remains of the house. It was about 150 square meters. These remains are of the outside area of the house.
Khan was not the only one who lost his house. According to the provincial government, over 300 houses were completely damaged, and over 3,000 were partially damaged during the floods. It's been difficult for Khan and his family, Unable to pay rent on time, they've had to move several times.
This is where we're living now. This is what we call the main door. Come inside and see. This whole place was filled with garbage. We cleaned it up and filled it with mud. It's kind of our veranda now. This is our kitchen and the stove. We're poor people. This is the bathroom. It doesn't have a proper sewage system, so all the dirty water accumulates here. The bathroom is at a lower level than the door. That's why it's difficult for the water to find its way out. What can we do? We have to manage with what we have. This is our room. It doesn't have a door or windows. When it rains, the entire roof leaks. You can see the roof is still wet. This is where we spend our days and nights. In the winter, it gets very difficult.
In conservative Charsadda, women are not allowed to appear in front of strangers, let alone a team of reporters. But fed up with the living conditions and perhaps out of pure desperation, Aasim's wife, Tayyiba Khan, spoke out about what it all meant for her as a mother of 4 children.
One child has one wish, the other has a different one. I say with that money, I could make lentils for the whole family. We can't afford wishes. We have no hope left apart from God.
Charsadda's losses were not limited to civilian infrastructure and property. The bigger worry was the loss of 9,000 hectares of agricultural produce. It not only impacted the local community, but also the revenue of the province. Deputy Commissioner of Charsadda, Waqasur Rahman, said that climate change was directly responsible for the tragedy.
We're witnessing unusual weather conditions, like heavy downpour during the monsoon season. The whole country, including Charsadda district, recorded losses due to that. We face challenges on multiple fronts due to climate change.
The Deputy Commissioner said that a total of 647 million rupees were paid out as compensation, but he admitted that many people may have missed out. In this Charsadda village, every person has a loss to grieve, and almost none of them was compensated. Some lost their houses, others their businesses. But Aasim Khan has lost something a lot more valuable, his belief.
I've aged. I don't have the energy to work as a laborer anymore. My heart beats faster. As time passes, these problems age a person. You become weak. I'm worried about poverty in my children.
About 1,150 kilometers to the south of Islamabad, deep in the arid Sindh province, this is Manchar Lake, one of Asia's largest freshwater lakes. Here too, irregular weather patterns driven by climate change have triggered displacement. This lake is home to the Mohana or Mullah tribe, which in the local Sindhi language translates to fisherman's village. The over 200-year-old village, on boats, once had a lively community of over 30,000 people. Today, there are just 45 boats left. Most of the people have migrated. This family has taken shelter in an abandoned school.
All the boats are gone. Here you can see our fishing nets. I used to have 8 boats of my own.
Several generations of the Mohana tribe lived on boats, so this is a new life for them. They have not been formally educated and do not possess the skills or understanding for life on land. Kariyamai is wary of the future while recalling her past.
We used to eat here, drink here, and live here, everything on the boat. I got married on a boat as well. My children were born here. They got married here, and then they had their children here. All we knew was everything that could be done on the water: fishing and repairing boats. We got our food from the river. My mother used to say, the best food is what you grow in your own backyard. We did that. Everything was just fine.
Once abundant fish stocks have gradually shrunk due to industrial wastewater, declining water levels due to low rainfall, and unusual weather conditions. Mashook Birhamani has been working with an NGO to preserve Manchar Lake. He knows exactly what's been going on.
We believe that due to climate change, there are very few fish left here now. Earlier, there used to be over 40 different types of freshwater fish in Manchar Lake. This place also routinely saw birds migrating from Siberia. People of the Mohana tribe loved nature. But look at them now, displaced and disoriented. We think Manchar Lake is dying. We need to save the lake. When life returns to the lake, joy will come back to the lives of the Mohana.
Sharee Rahman, Pakistan's former federal minister for climate change, has been sounding the alarm bells at international forums.
What goes on in Pakistan won't stay in Pakistan. We don't wish for it to be that way. But the dystopia has already come to our doorsteps.
Pakistan is facing multiple challenges at the moment: a deteriorating security situation, a deep financial crisis, and political instability. Climate change does not appear to be a priority for its government, at least for now. Meanwhile, the most vulnerable continue to pay the price.